There was once a world without light, a world where shadows lingered and hope felt distant. But then, light entered the darkness. Not a flicker, not a spark, but the light of life, eternal, unshakable, unstoppable. Jesus said, "I am the light of the world. Whoever follows me will never walk in darkness, but will have the light of life." His word lights our path when the road is unclear. His spirit burns within when the world grows cold. And now, that light lives in us. We are not hidden. We are not afraid. We are a city on a hill, a lamp on a stand, a light that gives hope to those around us. So shine. Shine in the broken places. Shine in the everyday moments. Shine because He shines through you.
I love coaching and mentorship. I love coaching because coaching is the doorway for mentorship. And I didn't realize that all of my mentors, before they became a mentor to me, even three that I have right now, they did coaching first. And then they do something called onboarding to find out exactly what is it that you want. And then to see, and they all use this, I mean, all of them, they use the same, I want to see if we are a good match. And I mean, I've been, over the last few years, anybody that I've did anything with, I want to see if we're a good match. A lot of y'all just like hooking up with people, and you never ask the hard questions to see whether it's a business partner, whether it's a relationship, hoping marriage. You never actually evaluated. You never did an intake session to see if it's a good match. And you wasted time for not doing that. So I'm going to ask you a series of dangerous questions, and these questions are basically to expose the everyday insanity. These questions expose the everyday insanity, the insanity that we call normal. I see it in all of y'all, that you do this thing and it's normal. Questions that reveal how skilled we become. Y'all ready? How skilled we become at bullshitting ourselves. Let's start here. Tell somebody this is intensive development. Now I'm giving you stuff, like I told you, this is not a church service, okay? This is way beyond therapy. Okay? This is intensive development. ID. We need, in order to destroy a habit, a compulsive desire that is lording and mastering over you, you have to ID it first. I went to the gun range, and they have different levels. They have one where it's just a target. You just put the target on and hit the button, and it just goes out. And then you can have it come closer or out. But then there's another range when you get good at the stationary target that's not moving, that there are other things that come out behind a tree and come out behind a bus or come out behind the wall, and you got to shoot it. But you got to make sure it's not a citizen. You got to make sure it's not the mother with her baby. You got to make sure it's not the father walking with his son. And all of a sudden, if you are not skilled and you haven't learned to identify the civilian, you'll end up shooting the civilian as though they are the criminal because you have not identified them. So what we want to do before I get started in this intensive development, before we move into some progressions of development, personal development, improving our development, we have to first do an intensive identifying what our problems really are. So let's start here. I want you to think about this verse. What sense does it make to work out for 2 hours, 1 hour of aerobics, sweating like you are a fighter for life, and then another hour doing resistance training, picking up weights, doing squats and bench press and curls? What sense does it make to do 1 hour of aerobics, another hour of weight training, and then you go home to eat a pint of butter pecan ice cream? And you do this as a reward. What sense? Look at somebody and say, what sense does that make? What sense does it make to order 2 double cheeseburgers, large fries, then proudly say, let me have a Diet Coke? I had an uncle, he ain't here no more, but I had an uncle who would order fried chicken and a hamburger and a plate of pancakes, waffles and fried chicken, and then ask for a diet soda. Who are you fooling? What sense does it make to have your plate running over with food and then politely ask for a diet sugar for your iced tea? Number one, that's not balance. Number two, that's not wisdom. Number three, it's not self-care. That is bullshit. What sense does it make to fast and pray for hours and sometimes days and even weeks, crying and shaking and speaking in tongues, begging God for direction, then ignore the very instructions that are given you? Isn't that spiritual sabotage dressed up in religion? What sense does it make to say, Lord, deliver me, and then go back into the environment that you're asking deliverance from, that actually broke you, thinking this time will be different? What sense does it make to ask God for a miracle while continue living a lifestyle that destroys the very miracle that you're praying for? What sense does it make to buy a dress that you wear one time only because you want to impress an audience at a banquet or at a wedding? Oh, y'all know you have done that. You want to impress somebody at a banquet, impress somebody at the church dinner, and only wear it one time for people who don't know you, don't love you, don't support you, and most of them won't even remember that you wore it. But we say to ourselves, I need this. They'll notice me. I deserve it. I work hard. And that's not fashion. That's a fool. That's not confidence. That's not self-esteem. That is bullshit. What sense does it make to buy shoes you can't wear, but because they look so cute, you'll just hurt your little bunions and corns and you'll do your best to just walk in them? What sense does it make to buy clothes that you can't afford and a lifestyle your bank account is allergic to, just to create a falsified image of yourself, to act like you're somebody that you're not, in the hope that strangers will notice you or they'll just compliment you? That you sometimes y'all you just need that one compliment. You'll go ahead and use your credit card to buy something you can't afford just to say, girl, you look good, and that's all you needed, and never wear the dress again. What sense does it make to say, I want change, while organizing your entire life around staying the same? What sense does it make to cry about the pain you keep choosing? What sense does it make to pray for peace when you won't detach from chaos? What sense does it make to blame the devil for battles you keep starting yourself? What sense does it make to talk about destiny while protecting the habits that are destroying your future? And here's the ultimate question. Write it down. How long will you keep bullshitting yourself before you realize the only one you're deceiving is you? This is not a message of condemnation. I told you I'm not. It might seem like I'm focusing on people. I'm not focusing on people. I'm focusing on your claim. There are things that you claim. There are things that you do. There are things that you practice that even though you know you shouldn't be doing that, even when you're told and instructed not to do that, yet you keep doing it, knowing that you shouldn't do it, because you have mastered the art of bullshit.